streaming here. I'm going to go over to the YouTube, see if we're live. You got so many windows open. There we go.
YouTube's back up, thank God.
Yeah, I heard that it was down for a little bit here.
Yeah, a lot of Google stuff was down.
Yeah. All right, looks like we are live. We can hear my wife screaming at my dog in the background, so we should be pretty good to go here. I love how I upgraded my internet, and before it was like, decent, always said like I was relatively in the green because YouTube gives you like a color for your health. And then as soon as I upgraded the internet, like it displays orange now, which is like, it's not the best, but it's okay. So I think that YouTube updated their like standards right when I was updating my internet, and just I can never please them, unfortunately.
Of course, never. You never can please the Google overlords.
Yeah, that's a story of my life.
Speaking of dogs, because I know you have an all-terrain pug.
Yes, I do.
One of my roommates. So I live in a new house. This is probably the first time you're seeing this.
Yeah. Great.
Sweet adjustable bed over there. It's got a remote, and it sits up and can squish it like a shrimp. It's amazing.
Careful, death trap.
I know. I never thought I'd get an adjustable bed until like we went to Mattress Firm, and they're like, "Try this out," and we're like, "Why would you live without it? Like sleeping flat is so fucking 1992. I want to be in the year 3000."
That's right. 1992 is more like sleeping on a water bed.
Yeah.
I remember my uncle had a water bed, and I thought it was so cool. Like he had like aquariums in his room, and like a water bed for him and my aunt. And I always wanted a water bed so bad. My dad was like, no.
No, they're really. I think they came out and they're like, not good for you.
No, I don't think they're good for your back at all. But I just thought it was the coolest friggin' thing. But like, I can't imagine like, nowadays it's like you want a mattress that has like memory foam, so it's like you're here and your partner moves, so you don't even feel it. On a waterbed, it's like friggin', you're like on one end of the Titanic all the time. You know what I mean? Like I don't even understand how anyone could sleep on those retrospectively.
There's like a weird middle ground too, because you could have like the whole water bed, which was basically like sleeping on like a weird vinyl something marks, and then you could get the ones that actually were like they had like a topper that like basically was like a match topper, and then it had the water bed inside, so it wasn't as like.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would last like any of those water beds. Like I would never want to look on the inside of one because you keep the water in there for like years, right? Or like occasionally maybe you drain it, but it's just like it's got to be just mold, right? Because like you can't prevent stuff like when you open it up to fill it with water, there has to be there's contact from the outside, even if just for that moment some stuff it's got to get in and begins to grow. It's like those stories where I remember seeing on Reddit someone like unseals a package of nuts and there's just like all these like earwigs and cockroaches inside, but it's like it's not because they got in there, it's that their eggs were in there and they grew over time. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just good God, yeah. Okay, so a lot of
going with this story.
I don't know. You got your new place. A lot of people in the comment section are saying this better not be clickbait. No, there is actually new EarthBound 64 footage we're going to be showing off, among other things.
Why can it be about clickbait, yo?
Well, because I think some people would be like, oh, we say EarthBound 64 and then we're like, fooled ya, or like, but do understand that's going to be like a part of this podcast, like where we have a number of topics that we're covering. We'll probably include the EarthBound stuff toward the beginning, middle, I'd say, something like that, because we want to make sure that YouTube notifies people. Oh, by the way, if you're watching and you want that, actually, no, I'm not going to tell you that link is in the description. You can just watch it now.
Whoa, you get really loud all of a sudden.
Uh-oh. Anyways.
I remember where I was going with this. Our roommate, I live in a house now, and I have two other roommates. One of my roommates likes to board dogs, and he boards one dog right now, and her name is Anya. She's a pug and Shar-Pei.
Oh.
She's a pug pay or
That's
a
awesome.
shub.
A shub. That's great.
She is so cute though, like because she's smaller than Shar-Pei, but way bigger than a pug. But she has the tiniest, like, because most dogs are like you see their paws, and their paws are very indicative of their size.
Yeah.
She's the smallest paws ever.
Wow.
She's so adorable, and she doesn't bark. She boofs. Boof.
Boof.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
she's so
Pugs
adorable.
have some, like, I love pugs for their, like, they're cuddly, they're this and that, but they're horribly malbred. I don't believe in purebreds at
You have to get a
all.
retro
But
pug.
yeah, like, I mean, like, we've, like, incestuously bred, it's basically eugenics with dogs for years and years and years, and they're just malformed now. But, like, pug mixes are, like, often amazing
They are
dogs.
pretty great.
So backing up a little bit, we do have a super chat from Gur2452. Thank you so much, $3. Really appreciate that. So yeah, we're just chatting away as YouTube kind of notifies everybody. I'm here with Shelby, aka Rue Crow. She's our editor, and she joins us on the podcast now and again. Eventually, she'll come up here and party with us and have a real episode.
I'm working on it because my stuff should be getting here from Texas next week.
Oh yeah.
And then from then on, I'm going to be saving money and maybe traveling over the summer.
Awesome. Yeah. Let me know. Our baby is coming August 28th. So you probably don't want to aim for after that unless it's like 6 months after that.
I think maybe July might be a good time for me to go.
July could be a good time. And we'll probably have our basement set up enough. We did our demo of the basement. We did the electrical. We're putting in floors and walls soon and painting. So it'll be enough. It'll be it'll be a clean space. It won't be like done or really like, I don't know if you're planning on staying in a hotel or in my basement or whatever you end up doing. But just so you're aware that I wouldn't want to put you in like a god-awful ridden place if you do opt to stay here. But regardless, that is totally up to you. But
speaking of, I am now a not quite in law, but I'm now an aunt by association.
Well, there you said your boyfriend's sister.
Yes, she finally, after a week being late, she finally had her.
Oh man! Well, congratulations to the parents and your boyfriend and your aunt by association.
Yes, I will be the weird aunt.
Yeah, there you go. Have you met the baby yet?
No, we have not. I have to get a Tdap shot before I go.
You should,
see him. So, but that's cool. I got to figure that out. I need to go to the doctor anyway. So I'm just be like, hey, doctor, can I have a physical, some blood work, and a Tdap shot? And can you look at this weird thing on my knee? And like, yay!
Yeah. You should get a flu shot as well if you didn't already mention that.
Don't normally. We've had this discussion with his parents because like my family, my bloodline doesn't normally get flu shots because I've been told from my uncle and my mom that when they get a flu shot, they get really sick.
It could be confirmation bias.
Right, and it could be, but I know the only time I've ever gotten the flu, and I've worked in public spaces, I've worked retail for years and years and years and years, so it's not like I wasn't exposed to it. Only time I ever got the flu was when my uncle had it.
Okay. Well, do you? Flu season's pretty much over with at this point, so it probably is unlikely. Tdap is really the most important thing because you don't want to give that kid whooping cough,
Yeah, I don't. I'm 100% for that. I will 100% get a Tdap. It's overdue. 100%. Flu shot. Yeah. I'm a little iffy on.
I was so pissed at my sister. She's also the Hard4Games accountant, and she I guess I shouldn't say I was pissed. I was very disappointed, I will say, because I told her multiple times you need to get a Tdap before you meet my son. And she's like, yeah, I'm doing it, but she lives in London, so she's like, I don't know if she's like worked through NHS there, the National Health Service, and I don't know if she's super familiar with how to do it, even though she's been living there for a couple of years, but she just didn't. And then she's like, oh, yeah, it was no big deal. I'm like, you could have killed him. Yeah. And she's like, oh, I'm like, yes, you could have killed him. And I told you this. And you really should have gotten your Tdap because vaccines work and babies can't be vaccinated.
Right.
Like they can be vaccinated, I think, immediately for like Hep B. But like other things, you have to wait.
Yeah. It's like 6 months to a year.
Yeah. So it's like it's spread out over time. And it's just
because you don't have symptoms doesn't mean you don't have it.
Yeah. You may not be showing signs. So, but... Anyways, everyone's like, I hate needles so much.
I do too, but like, man, I can't tell you. I literally I've gotten a botched blood draw one time. Yeah. And to the point where like I got scared that I might have to go back to the hospital because they blew out my vein. So like, oh my God. I have every reason in the book to be afraid of needles, and I will 100% get a shot. Cause like at this point, like I don't like needles, but I specifically don't like my blood drawn, and like getting shots doesn't scare me anymore because I literally had I was on one of those blood bank buses. Yeah. And they had to adjust the needle in my arm, and it hurt so bad. And I had a bruise for a month. It's the size of a quarter, and I will no longer be afraid of shots. don't take my blood ever
Yeah.
again.
Once you experience something worse than a normal shot or like draw, like you tend to not be as afraid. So, for example, I've had probably, but at this point in my life, between cortisone shots, stem cell shots, dye injections into my hips.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
like so your hip, not your hip, like the side of my waist. No, your
No,
hip joint.
inside. Yeah,
your
inside
hip joint, like in front of your leg, directly in there. And there's this one time where they couldn't quite get the dye because they were going to do an MRI. Then they put the dye. So
that's hard.
imagine it's in your, in your joint, and they're using a live X-ray. So they're like,
yep.
Imagine that in your hip joint.
Yeah. At least you're numbed. I mean, I guess maybe they did that to me too when I had my wrist looked at, and I've luckily had less wrist pain because I now have this magnificent.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent.
For some reason, using a regular mouse that you move with your hand hurts my wrist. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna try this. So I had a mouse that was like, it stood up like if I had carpal tunnel, but I don't have carpal tunnel because it's not the right fingers for carpal tunnel. So I got this thing and it's been amazing. But when they MRI'd my wrist, they did the same thing. They like stuck it in here basically to fill my wrist with dye. Yeah. And they're like, it's like filling up a gas tank. There's like a little place there. And I'm like, that is so, and it felt so weird. It felt like they were blowing up my hand like a balloon.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. I hate like injections where like things go into you and like they have to get deep and stuff. The only thing I liked or could appreciate was I got a stem cell injection in my right hip, and it was like, this is to help. So I was cool with that. So let's go ahead and get on with some of our announcements. It seems like we have about 73 people watching now, so I figure that we could probably get started with the actual podcast here. Some quick announcements. Are you being really still or just frozen? Okay, you're really just really still.
I'm reading the chat. Somebody was asking me what the right fingers for, or someone who was not asking me. Someone was asking what the right fingers for carpal tunnel is. If you have carpal tunnel pain, the fingers that will be painful and numb will be your thumb, your index, and your middle finger. If it is your ring and pinky finger, there's an ulnar nerve that typically gets upset down here, but it's not what it is. It is probably more forearm pain in my case. That's why sometimes I just get massages and it feels better. But for some reason, when I use a regular mouse, it aggravates these fingers to the point that will go numb.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Another thing you could do is just not go through like under any bridges or anything with people in your car.
You don't want a carpool and tunnel, guys. You don't.
It's just a bad, because you get carpal tunnel, That's the same reason why you don't have like a cow lick a newborn baby, because they get cowlick. And God help you if you ever say pardon me or pardon you to a woman who just gave birth. She'll get postpartum depression. And that's no laughing matter, but regardless, I made a joke about it.
Tony, I'm having flashbacks.
Anyways, postpartum depression is very real. But that said, don't say pardon me or pardon you, because it'll just make it worse. So,
just dumb.
Anyways, so there's a really nice comment here I wanted to read before we get started from Nintendo Fangirl. Hey, Tony, I'm a huge fan and I've watched for years. I'm an adult with possible PTSD and autism, and your content is a great escape for me. So thank you so much for saying that. That gives us a little bit of purpose. It's always nice when someone says that, hey, I'm dealing with this or that, but for whatever reason, everyone has their own, but the content makes them feel a little bit better, or allows them to forget about the world or whatever, So thank you. I appreciate you saying that. So let's go ahead and talk about a couple of channel updates. So first things first, we're doing a charity event for the ASPCA. They are the anti-animal cruelty organization. They're the ones that you hear the "In the Arms of the Angels" commercials on TV that make you cry and have all abused animals. So we are doing that Sunday, June 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So basically like now, but on June 23rd. And again, all proceeds will go to the ASPCA. All super chat money that day will go to the ASPCA. And we will also be selling... Oh, geez, I got to stop having these so far away from me. We have... Not going to stand over. 3D printed N64DD discs. Now, people have asked, hey, is there a disc in there? No, it's just a 3D print of the shell just for display. Plastic. Yeah, it's just plastic. It has our logo on it and such. Dave Perfect 10 Perazo 3D printed these, and we're going to be selling them, I think, for like 30 or 35 plus shipping. All proceeds, again, will be going to the charity with the exception of the shipping money. So, that'll cover the shipping to you.
Tony, where's my shirt?
I keep going on. So we have a Teespring, but for some reason I keep going on there, and it just never has your size in the color and the style you want. I think you have to pick a new color, and
okay,
because I keep going on there, but I think they just don't sell it anymore. But
weird.
Remind me what you want, because I think it was like gray or blue with a.
A lot of boys bought the GameCube.
Yeah, okay, so to be fair, to be 100% honest, I haven't looked in like a month or so I kind of forgot.
That's okay.
But I was around like Christmas and the next couple months after looking pretty consistently, and they just never had it. So, anyways. So yes, ASPCA, we're going to all Super Chat proceeds, money from that will be going to the charity, and at the end of the week, once we get all the funds together, we'll be posting the receipts on... like confirmation that it actually went to them on Twitter, Facebook, maybe Instagram as well, whatever is appropriate. So you all know that we're not a bunch of shysters. But anyways, something that we've been meaning to do for a while, vacation, do charity events, and I've been wanting to do it more. And so hopefully this will be like a twice yearly or once yearly thing possibly. And we're going to switch up the charities a little bit as well. Also, another announcement is that our P.O. Box is now public. So this is a P.O. Box that we utilized before for people that were letting us borrow items. All borrows or lending us items are done in a different way than just sending us stuff. So just so you're aware, if you want to send us stuff that you want us to borrow or possibly review to give back to you, don't just send it to us. We have to agree in advance for that. Because otherwise we'll be getting a bunch of stuff and then have to pay for shipping back to you if we don't want to review it. Which sounds harsh, but we can't afford it. So,
I've seen the videos where you guys are like, hey, we have so much to do. Look, all the stuff we do. I got to send it back eventually. I'm so sorry. I've kept it for 8 months, but it's so much stuff to do.
Yeah. So that's just not going to be possible. But if there's something that you want to send, people have sent like fan art or like little, Japanese candies or whatever. Like if there's something that you feel like sending, it's available to you now. You don't have to ask. You just send it to us. It's going to be in the description of the videos. And again, if it's something that you want us to borrow, please contact us via email. We can discuss that. I
want to review a Japanese game with you guys and eat Japanese candies sent in by people. So that sounds great. Start sending Japanese candies now. Since I am allergic basically to all American candy.
Oh my god. So cool, another super chat. Hayano Elemento 1111 $1. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So let's start with our first topic, which was, I don't know how many of you watched our N64 homebrew video the other day. About 5,000 of you, which was actually pretty good for a review. Normally our reviews are group reviews. We have a lot of fun. We have some booze and what have you. And then normally the dev stuff tends to be just one or two individuals. So our reviews tend to be a little bit sillier. And we got pretty plastered. And Shelby had the pleasure of watching, and if you haven't seen it, you'll definitely see the progression of how we start falling apart, especially toward the end. If you don't realize that we're pretty boozed when we break out in song at the end, you'll probably realize then, I guess. But Shelby, tell me about the experience of editing yesterday's episode.
All right, let me just preface this with the fact that there's a lot in the episode I had to cut that either I don't know is appropriate, because like a lot of stuff went back into the outtakes bay, because I don't know if it's appropriate if we're ever put it in the outtakes. If you want to see the outtakes on for Hard4Games, you'll have to subscribe to their Patreon, because I do those videos too. I also totally have made a reference to Bobby talking about everyone seeing his dick. Like outside of the context of like seeing this, of editing this. Like I think last night I was like laying in bed and I was like, everyone's seen my dick. I don't. I'm just like Bobby. Everyone's seen my dick.
Everyone has seen the reference.
Everyone has
Bobby's
seen my dick.
Penis.
I don't think that made it to the episode, but there was a moment where like Bobby was drunk as shit, and he was like, raise your hand in this room if you've seen my dick. And basically everyone like raised their hand.
Yeah, except for Corey, I think that's the first time he met Corey, so Corey hasn't seen his dick yet. But but
everyone else.
Bobby's so funny because he's so friendly that everyone just feels so comfortable around him. And then when he gets drunk, he often just takes his clothes off. But the thing is, like, nobody seems to care. It's weird. Like, he gets away with a lot. We go camping up at his cabin.
Yeah, as a reverend.
Once a year, yeah. And he just gets naked. and roams around, and his wife's screaming and whatever, and like but we've just seen him naked so many times that it kind of doesn't affect us anymore.
So let me take you down. So we've had the preference of everyone seeing Bobby's dick, and I've made jokes about it. Let me go into the episode is kind of crazy because 40 Winks section is good. You guys are like getting saucy. You guys are doing it.
Yeah.
Snese's playing, and so is John, and they're having a good time. But when we get to Super Keck 64, the legend of Trump Pepe, it goes off the rails because you guys are playing a ridiculous game, and you're also pretty sloshed by this point.
Oh yeah.
So I don't do all the editing in one day. I try to spread it out because, like, after a certain amount of time, I feel like I can't focus anymore, and I'm like, okay, wrap it up, and I'm like, come back tomorrow. Sometimes I'll get a final edit together or like a rough cut, and I'll go, okay, we have done for today. Tomorrow we'll take a fresh look at it, and we'll get it sliced down. But I always kind of like keep an eyeball on like how many clips are left. And I'm like, okay, last clip. This must be the outro clip because there's no more SD footage. And then I start listening. And by the way, any episode with John in it typically is kind of difficult because John will tangent. There'll be like a good section where things are happening. And then John will just like take the end of the section and just like extend it out.
So far.
And you're like, what do I do? There's no natural cut here. What do I do? Because I try to get the best take.
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes multiple takes have to become one take. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes,
at the end of this particular, when I got to the final thing, I was listening. There were some good parts, and like you guys kept like going off the rails. And I was like, okay, that cut's not good. That cut's not good. That cut's not good. And I was also had been sitting at my desk all day, so I was kind of up and stretching.
Yeah.
And then the final take on the card happens, and it just devolves into everyone singing, and I literally started screaming. I was like, no! And I went back to your email, and you're like, I want to use the cut with the singing, and I was like, what is happening? Like, I had to call my boyfriend in. I was like, boyfriend, you have to come in here. Because he's done editing too. Yeah. Not to the extent I have. But I was like, listen to this take. And then I watched his face because I can't hear. But I watched his face. And he went from like, what's happening? I'm like, I think I have to use. That's what I got. That's what we get.
That's what was given. That was what was given. So yeah, I have always traditionally, I've edited a ton of Hard4Games, obviously. Before that, I had done some edited feature films and a couple of other, like, short films and projects. They're all, like, low-budget stuff. And so, like, you have technical problems, and you have, like, actors that aren't staying on point, and continuity and this and that. So, like, it actually really teaches you to, like, deal and, like, make natural breaks even when they don't exist, which sounds really strange. So it's like it is good for your editing skill, but it's so frustrating.
I love you guys to death. I also hate sometimes when I edit yourself.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And that's like sometimes when I have to take a break. I think I finished with that cut, and I was like, no more. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm done. Take a break. Real quick, backtracking a little bit. Someone asked this Nintendo fangirl asked us if we would mind being sent British candy. Sure, actually, I love British candy. My sister
coffee
lives.
Crisp is good.
What is it? I think if I had that, there's one that's just called like Crisp or something. That literally is just flakes of chocolate that fall apart in your mouth.
Oh.
Like it's actually really good.
So coffee Crisp is imagine like a Reese's Fast Break, like the Reese's that comes with the wafers.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but it's like coffee chocolate flavored.
Okay. Oh, really wow. Good. Okay. Yeah, my sister lives in London, and she brings home UK candy now and again, and it's always really good stuff. Also backtracking, Isaac. Sorry, I'm like kind of far. I'm trying to keep a distance from my mic so it doesn't like pop. But Isaac Stringer, loving the pre-stream. Congrats on the pregnancy. Geez, another Tony. Yeah. Will you review my father's press cart of 12 Tales? If that is actually a thing, sure. But considering there weren't any press carts of 12 Tales, I have a funny feeling you're joshing me. But Either way, 12 Tales is Conker's Bad Fur Day, before Conker's Bad Fur Day. So you wouldn't have a press version of an unreleased game with the previous title, right? You know what I mean? So like, I think he's just being silly. But
I didn't think Conker's Bad Fur Day was that good, actually.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was technically impressive. I thought it was funny, but I hated the combat. I thought the platforming was sloppy, and I thought the combat, like the frying pan, was like...
Well, like, I played Banjo-Kazooie growing up, and then I played Conker's later, and, like, Conker's physics engine and, like, damage system is so much inferior to Banjo-Kazooie, it hurts.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Conker seems like it's like you're waiting to swing again. Like, it feels really weird. It feels off. Really weird.
And plus, the whole teddy bear section is, like, really, really bad.
Yeah.
Just bad.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Conker's Bad Fur. I think people like it because it was unique, but as a game, it doesn't stand on its own that well. So let's go ahead and jump into EarthBound 64. I think a lot of people are here for that, so I don't want to disappoint. I'm just going to see how many people... 90 people watching. Jeez, guys, you really love EarthBound 64.
Is it the new Zelda?
What's that?
The new Zelda?
New Zelda? No, just EarthBound 64.
No, I'm just saying in like terms of popularity. Like,
yeah, it's the new Zelda. Yeah.
We put Zelda as a clickbait. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You should just sell Zelda. Okay, so here it is. Now, this was shown off at Space World, and as you can see, it's like all of these like PVMs, and this individual's recording it off of the PVM. But even though it's recorded from a TV, this is like the best EarthBound 64... Sorry, I got an ad popping up I got to get rid of.
Quality.
Yeah, best EarthBound 64 quality I've seen. And the nice thing about this video is that it loops a bunch of times and it plays in slow motion. It's just the same thing over and over again. Now, you probably recognize a lot of these scenes from, some of them were shown as a video in snippets of the EarthBound 64 trailer. The one that you can find that's like 240p from IGN back in the day. And then... there's also like little snippets here, like when Lucas is walking through the woods and such, that appears in screenshots that were in various magazines and Nintendo Power. Like right here, there's the bike section, the band section, etc. So a lot of this stuff you've kind of seen before, but not necessarily as high of quality or in motion. Like a lot of these, like, okay, I've seen that screenshot, but not necessarily in motion. So it's nice to actually finally see it. So it's not like groundbreakingly new, but it is... Why does this keep... I want to just keep replaying. Just keep replaying, darn you. There's got to be a mode to do that, I'm sure.
You're talking about for the YouTube clip?
Yeah.
If you right-click and hit loop.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so again, for me, this is like, I'm going to go ahead and download this video as soon as I possibly can, because I'm just like super impressed with the fact that it's translated. Like, it looks good, it looks clean. You actually have a really good idea of how the character models were animated here, which is just so incredibly nice.
It had some potential for sure. I mean, like... people have been starved for Mother 3 content, or Mother content in general, EarthBound content. Like I think if Nintendo decided to release any more like they decided to remake any of the EarthBounds, I think people would just lose their shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely agree. Here we go. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller and kind of loop it in the corner over here. So I was going to quote someone from our Patreon. It was actually Ellie. Who also lives in the UK, and she was actually quoting someone from Tumblr, but I think that it was really apt what she said, the quote. She said, to quote someone I saw on Tumblr, Nintendo could release as much as a crayon drawing of Ness farting, and the fandom would lose their minds, and at least 3 people would cry.
It's kind of true.
Yeah. And of course, Ness is EarthBound, not Mother 3, but you get the idea that it's just like the EarthBound community they're so starved for content that they're like, oh my god, like Ness is here's a production drawing of Ness farting, and it's just like oh. The love theme from Mother 3 plays, and everybody loses their mind,
God. I mean, here's what kind of kills me is that, like, speaking of things, Animal Crossing was supposed to come out in spring.
Mm-hmm.
And spring is literally 20 days away from being over, and we have heard nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen nothing. What's happening? Does anybody know?
No idea. Nintendo's notorious for delaying, because I mean, you got to give them some credit in that, like, that quote that I think Miyamoto said is like a delay or a rush game is never good or something like that, or like eternally bad, whereas a delayed game has potential or something like that. But on Earthbound 64 is, obviously became Mother 3 is a great game, but like Earthbound 64 as that entity never came out. Backtracking a little bit, Isaac Stringer, $5 super chat again. Thank you, sir. I was just joshing with you regarding the 12 Tales cart. I figured you were. Yeah, he said no bad intent intended. No, I assumed you're just joking around. No worries on that. Also, the frying pan is clunky, referring to Conker's Bad Fur Day. The game didn't age well. You're right. Yeah, I don't know. Like we said, I think Conker is just kind of one of those things that has its fan, but I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy over it.
As a game, it was basically a gimmick, and it was shock factor.
Yeah.
So for what it was good, but for being a platformer of its time, wasn't even good.
Yeah.
And Banjo-Kazooie did everything Conker did, but better.
Yeah,
except for the gross humor.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Banjo-Kazooie went beyond expectations in terms of gameplay. Conker's Bad Fur Day went beyond expectations in terms of what a cartoony, cutesy platformer is. You know what I mean? Because, so for example, like, you think of The Simpsons. Everyone was like, oh my God, The Simpsons, when it came out in like the 80s. Oh, it's so inappropriate. It's a cartoon where, they swear a little bit. Because the mindset was cartoons are for children. So you don't swear in them. Like, even like a more adult cartoon like the Flintstones, didn't swear. Like, it deals with more, not adult themes necessarily, but it deals with like marriage and scheduling and raising kids,
households,
whatever.
And
yeah. But it's not like a like more mature necessarily show, even though it was like aired on prime time originally. But Simpsons, they were like, oh my God, oh wow, oh. Even though if it was live action, no one would care, right? So it's just one of those things where it's like Conker's filled this niche at the time where everyone was like, oh, this cutesy little rare platform, whoa, and that's why it's still known and liked today. But yeah, I think some people are disagreeing with us in the comments regarding Conker Bad. That's okay. Yeah, one Moonhack95 said Conker still had full voice acting. That was a technical achievement. I think technically Conker is amazing. It's a beautiful game without the need of the RAM expansion pack. Voice acting, like the textures are gorgeous. They look very high res. It's a large cart. I think it's like either the second largest or largest cart available for the N64. It's like 512 megabits or maybe 256, but it was technically amazing. I just don't like the gameplay that much.
Yeah, I mean, I think I measured it out. If you fell over Conker's height by like a quarter of a Conker, you'd take damage.
Yeah.
With Banjo-Kazooie, you can fall twice your height without taking damage.
Yeah, I think Banjo's just a better game, but
it is. Yeah. I mean, from a gameplay standpoint.
Yeah. Well, that's our, even though we shifted to Conker, that's our Earthbound 64 footage. It was discovered, put on YouTube recently. Check it out again. If you missed us showing it, I did put a link in the description below so you can check out the video yourself. Again, it's some content we've seen before, but not necessarily in motion, right? So it's like we may have seen a screenshot, but not what happens before and not what happens immediately after. And it's pretty good quality. Look up Earthbound 64 trailer, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, this is a lot better quality.
This 40-second clip is such a kind of like snapshot into the 90s, too, because if you look back, I'm on like 5 seconds of the clip, you see this like group of people staring at CCTVs. You can definitely see Mario Kart 64, and I don't know exactly it's in the middle behind the lady's head, but like this clip feels so 90s. Like she's so excited. She's holding a handheld camcorder. Like and even the close recording, you can definitely tell that somebody's recording a television. Yeah, it's so good.
which makes it even sadder that it's the highest quality Earthbound 64 footage I've seen.
Right.
Right, because someone's recording a television, that's the best. quality that is out there right now, and everything else is just like garbage. It was like 144p uploaded to YouTube. You know what I mean? Like it's just really just nasty quality. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here, which a lot of people are talking about assembler in the comments. So let's jump over to that. Now, Shelby, I don't know how super familiar you are with assembler. It's kind of been a go-to for me for quite some time.
I think I've heard of it a couple times because I've been editing your guys' stuff. I think I've heard of assembler games.
Yeah,
for sure.
So for those of you that are unfamiliar, assembler games is a forum where for years and years and years, those people that have been interested in preserving and archiving development hardware, prototypes of games, beta and alpha builds of games, like cataloging this stuff, talking, like communicating with each other on how to like get dev software to work, among other things, like chit-chatting about people's collections and their holy grails and just being a gaming site in general, but with a focus on sort of that niche core development and beta stuff that Hard4Games tends to discuss. So this has just been like a... Pelvic Gaming just came on and says, you didn't tell me it was an EarthBound stream in all caps. Well, if you missed it, there is an EarthBound 64 trailer that recently came out, and I actually have a link to it in the description below. It is the best quality EarthBound 64 footage you're going to see, and then you're going to watch it and be like, whoa, this is the best quality that exists? Yes, it is, unfortunately. But it is some new footage, so we're very happy about it. But either way, assembler has had some drama for a number of years now. I don't know the whole spiel regarding the drama that existed before, but it's unfortunate because it is an archive. It is an online archive of just a massive quantity of knowledge. So for example, if I found something that I didn't know what it was or didn't fully understand it or whatever, I could go on assembler, talk to some people, and I would just put a random post from this noob user, because I never posted that much, and people would respond and be like, hey, I think it's this, you could do this with it, or blah, 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 you know, and it was really a wealth of information. But it was supposedly shutting down a bit back, and now it seems to be shutting down for good. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over and actually get this.
So why was it going to shut down the first time?
I'm pretty sure it was because of money and some online drama.
Okay, I mean that's oftentimes the case with these kind of. I mean, it sucks to say that like right now forums are a dying media on the internet, which is so funny because the internet is like the thing that's killing everything else.
Yeah,
it's kind of like in its own way, it's like the print of the internet is forums.
Yeah, but I mean, for content like this, where it's like you kind of want an encyclopedia, it's good. I think some people are trying to archive it. It's just sad that it's discontinuing. But to your point, forums are kind of kind of a thing of the past. And I think one of the reasons why that is, at least in this case, is because of, well, I'm going to go ahead and read it. So it's Shelby, if you want to follow along, I have a link in the description of the video. But basically, it's Assembler Games. It says, notice this forum will close in 30 days. One of the admins says, current account status is negative $2,880, parentheses at $120 x 24 months. It cannot continue at such a loss. Thank you for being champions for 23 years journey. Now,
companions.
Companions. Oh, did I say champions? I'm tired.
Yes,
sorry.
Companions.
I got to get back to my coffee, switch my beers. Yes, thank you so much. I'm glad you're following along. No, yeah, so anyways, thank you for being companions for 23 years journey. And I saw this, and, you know, a lot of the comments are like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? Like, rest in peace, blah, 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 blah. So I think part of the drama is that the owner doesn't want to sell, would rather just close it down. So they'd rather just see it, like, if I can't have it, no one can have it. I don't know if that's true, but that's been some of the rumors floating around.
They're right, I guess.
Sure. But, so here's the thing, is that I'm a small business owner. Hard4Games is a small business. And, hey, guess what? Businesses have expenses, you know. The first however many years of Hard4Games' life, I was pumping about $1,000 of my own money into it every year, and that's when our expenses were much less. That's like 2009 through like 2015.
I mean, camera equipment is not cheap.
No.
And neither are licenses for the editing software.
Yeah. So if you listen to the Hard4Games theme song, it talks about how Richie is making music and John is being crazy and Tony has the cash to turn on the video game power light. Is the lyrics, which I did not have a lot of cash, but I was the one. It was kind of a joke on the fact that I was funding everything. So now, you know, we make our money through Patreon, through YouTube ads, through Super Chat donations, that kind of stuff, right? And our expenses include buying equipment, shipping stuff back that we're borrowing, paying for editing services. Money well spent, by the way. Thank you, Shelby. You know, sometimes we'll have, you know, I'll buy extra food for the shoots, like that kind of stuff, like equipment, hard drives, you know, there's just all sorts of stuff. But my point is that $100, or rather, excuse me, $120 per month is not not a crazy expense for a business. For a site that has the following of Assembler Games, the owner should be able to figure out a way to monetize it to cover $120 per month.
I mean, from what I saw, unless you have ad block, I didn't see any ads on that site.
I do have ad block on now, but even when you turn it off, no ads pop up. So, to my understanding, based on my experience with this, it is an adless site. And
it's an adless form, so there's no money revenue probably going into the site.
Yeah. And my understanding is they don't have any sort of Patreon or anything like that.
How do you set up a Patreon for a forum?
Well, same thing with anything, right? We have a Patreon set up for a YouTube show.
I mean, yeah, but you provide content.
Yeah. Yeah, but it could be donations to keep the site alive.
You have something physically, not physically, but something you produce on like a monthly, semi-monthly basis that you release to people.
Yeah.
And for a forum, it's more like a place you visit and then people produce. So I'm sure it could be done to make a Patreon for a forum site. Yeah. I just don't know what you would offer to Patreons. I agree. I think it would be a little bit unorthodox. But I don't... You could still do it.
You could still do it. I mean, the thing is that it could be like, okay, we're not going to have like tiers where you get extra stuff, you know?
Right.
It's just going to be like, if you want to have a monthly thing where you toss in $1, you know, or you occasionally do a donation of $5, like...
Or people have an access to a town hall you do every so often.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that hard to get $120 a month. And I know that sounds very elitist and very like oh, you know, like stamping on people that don't have money or something like that. But the fact of the matter is Assembler Games has a large community, and you can monetize that to keep things running if you wanted to. You could do a Patreon, you could do ads, you could do a GoFundMe.
You could pair up with some other website and like try to make it work and stuff like that.
Wikipedia runs on donations, and once a year they bug the hell out of you every time you go there for donations to keep the site alive, and they explain why they need those donations. Assembler could be doing the same thing, but Assembler is doing none of those things. So I guess this is going to sound, again, this sounds a little bit bad, but as a business owner, I was like, $120 a month, that's pathetic. Like, getting $120 a month is doable. You know, for example, Assembler used to post content on YouTube, right? So they would be like, here's this crazy rare dev stuff. And now the dev stuff on our channel does great. You know, if they were to like take a backlog of stuff that they have and do videos on it and monetize it, that could be another revenue stream. There's just a million different possible revenue streams that you could have for Assembler Games where they could make $120 a month. So it just it looked...
You pay me more than that.
Yeah! You know, and granted, we had to get to the point where we had enough views to be able to afford an editor. I edited myself for years and years and years and years and years. But the fact of the matter is like you take a look at Hard4Games audience is a microcosm of Assembler Games. It's small, it's tiny compared to Assembler Games. What could Hard4Games do if we had an audience that was 20, 30 times as big, like Assembler Games? Like, there should not be a reason why you can't afford $120 a month. It just came off as giving up to me.
I almost don't want to talk about this because it's like, it's not necessarily related, besides the fact that it was a website that went down. There was a website I went to. I don't know if I shouldn't mention it because it is adult content.
Oh.
But I think about 4 months ago, they shut down, like just straight up, no warning, just they were just gone. And like they kind of provide like kind of a specific niche in the market for this kind of content. And I was like, what happened? And like I went and I found all of this drama with the person who had the site. And people were like, oh well, this person doesn't want to pay for the site because they have like this fursuit they're trying to pay off, and like they don't want to like put the money into the website. It's so weird because like it's an adult content website, so they had ads, so they were definitely making money. It's not like they weren't making money, and they were just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not making enough money, blah, blah, blah. And people were like really upset because they're like, this is my niche content. Why can't I have my niche content anymore?
Yeah.
And then I saw a couple months ago that they were like, oh, we're going to pair up with this other adult website, and we're going to come together and bring the website back because you guys wanted it so bad. So
oh my God.
it's kind of weird. I just looked it up, and it's back up now, which I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, there we go. Know what we're doing later. Yeah.
So,
but no,
everyone's asking about it. I will not confirm nor deny.
Yeah. So we're getting some comments earlier. I think we're getting comments about what you're saying. They're like, is it hentai heaven? It's kind of interesting.
It's like interesting perspective into a website that went down and now is back up.
Yeah. One person said, I feel sorry for the people that just arrived. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, $120 is a lot of money for me. And when I say that $120 isn't a lot of money, I'm not saying that for like an individual or a person. I'm saying that for a business that has a massive following that they could utilize to keep going. So it's not meant to bring anyone personally down, because $120 is a lot of money. I wouldn't spend $120 on just anything. I would have to, you know, it'd be something that I really need, or you don't want to just like blow your money away. So just to be 100% clear, I'm not saying that it's like, oh, it's nothing. I'm saying that they have the means to do that and way more, but they're just choosing not to. So for them, $120 shouldn't be a lot of money. You know what I mean? It's like a big website saying, oh, well, $5. You know, it's kind of a different story when you have someone who's, you know, or a site that's just like refusing to function versus an individual that's struggling for money. So it's not an insult to anyone individually regarding their monetary situation, just to be 100% clear. So.
I mean, if they didn't want to do it anymore and they don't, and it's kind of like a pride thing, right? Because if you sell it off to somebody else, you have to entrust them to treat the site the way that they treated it. And like, if it's something like a Simpler Games, which is probably has a lot of like personal pride in like the fact that it's a retro type of site, doesn't have ads. It's like this little niche, it's a little corner that other people, like-minded people, can come in and talk about retro games and beta builds, which I love your content, Tony. I really do, but it's such a specific niche.
Yeah,
it's so specific. It's great. I love it. It feeds my
Thanks for saying
everything.
That. Thanks for saying that. I feel slightly better about myself now.
But you have to entrust somebody that won't do the ads. They'll treat it. They won't change anything. And then maybe they're just like, I don't want to deal with it. I really don't want to run this website anymore, though. But I can't trust anybody to have the same vision I do.
Yeah, like the thing is, I get that kind of, but the thing is that sometimes you build something and it goes beyond you. You built the framework, but really with a forum, the users built the content. You know what I mean? Right. And so I get that kind, you know, with like certain creations and such, you wouldn't want necessarily ever anyone running your baby. But if you just don't care anymore, sell the damn thing. You know, make some money and make your exit. If you don't care, let people who do care run it. Right. You know?
I mean, if you look at like what happened to ScrewTack when they sold.
Yeah.
And like,
which time?
Huh?
I guess they only sold once, and they just became different divisions. Yeah.
They only sold once. So when they sold, like nothing changed immediately. But after a while, the parent company basically cut a lot of their content because they were overlapping with Rooster Teeth, who was much more successful and had more eyeballs.
Yeah.
Until the point where like ScrewTech, it doesn't exist anymore. Now, I mean, it's only been 3 or 4 years after they sold out, but they're gone.
Yeah, well, it's just Death Battle now. I mean, it's
right. Oh, and ScrewTech is no more. There's just Game Attack, and then the ScrewTech guys either got hired by RT or they're doing something else.
yeah, I think we had talked about that a bit too when they actually sort of disbanded because you had worked for them for a little while.
It did.
By the way,
I also worked with Pro Jared. It was just
we talked about that a little bit. Then
into that situation.
Yeah.
That a lot of Jared jokes in the most recent episode of Hard4Games. You haven't seen it. There's not a lot of them that made the cut. But
there's just one of them. Honestly, I don't even remember what I said about Pro Jared. I was so drunk that and also too, I'm talking, it's like this whole conversation over the course of a couple hours, and it's like I'm focusing on like video and like the focus and this and that and recording stuff. I was thinking, like, we also Did we record the part where we were singing the 8-Ball song?
I don't think so.
Take a line. Okay, good. Thank God. Jesus Christ. Okay. I think I stopped recording for that one. Melon Speedruns is here, by the way.
Hello, Melon.
The Erroneous Click says the issue with Assembler is that Kevin the owner is a hoarder and will never let the site go. Would rather let it die than change hands. Is his legacy alone. Oh, my mic is clipping slightly. Okay, let me back it up here. Back that thing up, girl. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. I won't get so close to the mic now. But, anyways, yeah, so that's, I mean, again, I don't know a lot about the inner workings of Assembler. I've just been there as the occasional poster. I've read a lot of the content on there, but it's just like this amazing site, and it's just like...
I mean, they got 30 days to archive it all, so...
Pretty much, yeah. We do have some good comments about this, though. It seems like a lot of people have been utilizing Assembler.
Yeah, I mean, so in an interesting thought, because Erroneous Click here is talking about obscure gamers, I've had a similar situation in my life. My mom used to play this game. I think it's still around on the internet. It's a web-based game that's actually rooted in real life called the Hollywood Stock Exchange.
Okay.
And it's an internet game where you buy stocks in real movies, and you can either put them on the short or long, and you're basically betting on whether or not they're going to be successful or not, or make budget. So that's just games she played. But there was a forums that were involved with that. This blows my mind too, because Ticker Talk, it's called Ticker Talk, is such an old way to do a forum, because when you post, it's not like in threads, it's just one big massive like threads that are happening, and like when you, after a certain amount of posts, it flips to the next page, so you lose threads in the pages. But after everyone stopped kind of playing the game, because after a while you hit like $1 million, you're like, okay, whatever. One of the people from my mom's big group made their own version of the Ticker Talk thread.
Oh, okay.
So now they have a separate forum that it operates just like Ticker Talk, but it's not Ticker Talk. So they took it away basically out of that website, and maybe somebody will do that with Assembler games. They'll continue something super similar without it being a simpler game.
So I'm glad that you brought that up, because when originally Assembler Games was experiencing some drama back in the day, there was a site called ObscureGamers.com that popped up as a replacement, and then ultimately went down when Assembler was sort of, quote, saved, and now is back up again, that a lot of people are switching over to. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. It's called Obscure Gamers. I just learned about this existence today, so I don't know much about it. Andrew, the individual who lent us a ton of stuff, who's very active on Assembler, showed me this. So it's not going to be as full as Assembler right now, but it's something that he's utilizing as sort of a replacement. So this could be something for you guys to utilize in the chat if
If
you know, it's
assembler goes
something that
down,
you're...
I think something will come to take its place because the niche market, although small, is strong.
Yeah.
So I think somebody, and especially because of the nature of beta questers and the nature of the people in your line of hobby, have that kind of know-how, probably would have a know-how to design a website or a forum. So I
Yeah.
think that something will rise up to take its place. Maybe it won't be as good. Maybe it'll be better. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so Melon Speedruns mentioned something that would be a very direct example of how Assembler affected him and also Hard4Games. He said, at least I found out on Assembler games how to dump NR discs for you before it died.
Oh,
so all the NR dumping information that we have, he researched on Assembler, turned it into baby talk for me so I could understand it. Then I bought a bunch of stuff and we did it. Basically. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. Except, as I mentioned earlier to Shelby, I'm drinking a beer, I'm drinking a coffee, and I'm drinking a water. So I'm going to take a brief intermission for a reason that you might be able to imagine why. Shelby, would you mind womaning the chat?
Sure.
I would say manning the chat.
I will person the chat. I will
person the chat.
I will wield it like a helm.
Very good. I'll push the urine out as fast as I can. And
pee like a racehorse.
I will. I'll be right back.
Hi, Chad. How's it going? This is the part where Tony doesn't know exactly what I'm going to talk about, and neither do I. So let's have this sweet hours. Cue the jazz music. How's it going? How are all of you on this wonderful Sunday? Have you prepared? Have you brushed your hair? Have you prepared yourself for Monday? Because Monday comes, and I'm here to tell you that you can do your best with Mondays away. Ooh. The super simple formula of 9 herbs and spices, several vitamins will get you prepped for your Monday commute to your job that you hate. That's right. For the easy payments of $2.99 payments, you person can have your own vitamin supplement slurry that tastes just like it sounds, but will bring the Mondays to their knees. I just got off on a tangent. I thought I would entertain you guys at least a little bit. Hi, I'm Shelby. I edit for Hard4Games. I'm a little wacky and loony, but I do it for the fun. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'll try to address them. My body is ready. Oh gosh, shameless plugs, absolutely. Yes, Melon. Yes, what can I help you with? You take $20, 20 stocks. This man is getting the Monday slurry. SMM2. What is SMM2? Super Mario Maker 2. I've never played any of Super Mario's Makers, so I don't know.
All right. You're laughing at me or something in the comments?
Oh, don't worry about it, Tony. It's a secret you'll have to find later.
Uh-oh. Oh, man. Uh-oh. Hang on, I'm looking through the chat. What are we laughing at?
No. They're asking me if I've ever played Super Mario Maker, and I've never played Super Mario Maker, so I feel kind of bad. It was on the Wii U, right?
Yeah, the original one, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really play a lot of games on the Wii U because the Wii U was not a great system, in my opinion.
I think the opinion of many people, yeah.
Yeah, I should get it. I do like Mario a lot, and I don't know. I haven't really, except for the exception of Mario Odyssey, I haven't been a real big fan of the new 3D Mario games because they feel very samey to me. Like Mario Galaxy was a good one, but like the super new 3D Marios are just like okay to me.
Yeah,
they follow. Good.
Well, I was just gonna say that the like the one on the Wii where you could do multiplayer was like, oh wow, cool, revolutionary multiplayer. But then they made a bunch after that like that, and it's just kind of like the same gimmick, you know. But I get what you're saying. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's a problem. Those are kind of really formulaic in my opinion. Yeah. Which is like okay, and like I feel like sometimes I get super frustrated at games. So I don't know if I'd like Mario Maker because like playing in people's absolute death traps of a Mario level would probably make me tear my hair out.
Well, they're not all like you can kind of choose between difficulties and stuff, right. But Excuse me. But anyways, backtracking a little bit, Erroneous Click, $20 super chat. Thank you so much. That's very generous. Love the streams and vids as always. Thanks for the content and for talking about what's going on with Assembler. Smiley face. Absolutely. It's kind of sad to say it, but yes, Assembler is dying again. Maybe it'll be saved. Probably not. We'll see what happens, unfortunately, but it did have a good run, and now they just can't figure out how to monetize thousands of users. So
I'm also not good at designing levels. I'm not a level designer.
You know what, though? That'll come quick. That'll come quick with Mario Maker. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Now, this is Panic's Playdate, which is a new handheld/toy that's coming out. And it is just the cutest little thing. Now, Panic had primarily made like iOS software and a couple of games, which actually I watched the trailers for these games, which included Untitled Goose Game, which is just yeah.
Go ahead, I want to play the Goose Game so bad though.
So I'm watching this and it just looks like you're a goose like causing havoc. It looks amazing. Like I really want to play this game.
I want to be a goose.
It's so ridiculous. To be fair, the goose looks more like a swan. But that said, and you are a horrible goose. I'm just going through the thing here. But anyways, it says it's a lovely morning in the village and you're a horrible goose. Anyways, this looks pretty amazing.
I'm a horrible goose in real life. What's the difference?
Well, there you go. And then there's this other game that actually looks really cool for the Switch called Firewatch. I didn't think I'd be interested, but then I watched the trailer and I'm like, this might be something I could play with my wife.
Wait, Firewatch?
It's called Firewatch for the Switch.
Where you're in like a tower in the middle of the woods and you're like,
yeah,
that already came out on PC a long time. I shouldn't say a long time ago, but some time ago.
Yeah, this is an older game. This isn't coming out currently, but it is for the Switch. I don't know when it came out for the Switch, but it seemed pretty cool from the trailer.
It was very critically acclaimed for its time. I think I played a smidge of it, but like a lot of people I followed on Twitter when it first came out on PC, they really, really, really liked it a lot.
Okay, well, so either way, Panic has made those two games, and they figured they would make this little handheld device. It's called Playdate. And basically it says it's yellow. It fits in your pocket. It's got a beautiful black and white screen. It's not super cheap. It's not super expensive. It includes brand new games and some amazing creators. Plus it has a crank. So it has, I don't know, I'm not super familiar with the company, but apparently a very well-known company is basically creating the components for it and actually creating the handheld itself that they partnered with. And basically what it's going to do is there's going to be 12 brand new games, almost like a season of games, one each week. They're keeping them, quote, secret. Some of them they say will be long, some will be experimental, some will be traditional. Some will use the hand crank, some will not use the hand crank, etc., etc., etc. But basically it's this $150, video game system / really kind of like a toy. You can see the hand crank in action here, kind of a simulation of it anyways. This person does like a suplex pile driver thing on this other person. But anyways, like it's this weird sort of backlit screen, or rather weird black and white screen. I don't know if it's backlit or not, I'm assuming. But it basically has a couple buttons and a crank for some experimentation, and it's $150, and they're not telling you what games are coming out, but all the games are free and included with it, which seems kind of interesting. So it seems like this company has some cred. Obviously they've never done a system before, and this seems kind of more like somewhere between a toy and a video game system, but I thought this was shockingly interesting. What were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, like, to be honest, like, as you're talking about, I didn't look at this before. I should have, but like, I am intrigued. I'm an absolute mixture of emotions right now, and I laugh at somebody in the chat mentioned the Soldier Boy thing.
This is a little more legit than just selling cheap Chinese knockoff consoles. Like the people that are making this and the people that are actually making the components, like the physical components, have a really good track record.
How much was the NES and SNES classics?
$80.
And those came with what, 10 games?
SNES Classic came with 20. I can't remember NES Classic how many it came with.
Okay. And they were both 80. I mean, they're more now because they have false scarcity. But they were.
SNES was definitely 80. I can't remember NES. Probably 80.
But they were basically Raspberry Pis that were wrapped up in a shell, basically.
Basically, they weren't really Raspberry Pis, but they were, emulation systems, official emulation systems.
This intrigues me because as people are in chat are saying, it's not necessarily made for the mass market.
I don't think so. Yeah.
This almost seems like an artistic expression because it is designed like it's it's designed in a specific way for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
The crank adding on to that purpose because it screams art installation and video game experience, but also the crank almost gives it a feel of like a fidget cube.
Yeah, kind of, doesn't it?
So this seems like the $120 is selling really the experience of it. I don't know if that experience is going to be good.
$149.
It's $149.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to pay for a mystery experience.
Yeah. That's one of the concerns that I had was that I like the fact that all the games are free. Basically, it's going to like ping you or something when a new one's available for download, and you get 12 of them, so it's like a season worth of games.
Right.
I guess the challenge is that you don't know what games are going to come out for it, right? They're keeping it a secret, so you don't really know. You have no anticipation. You can't tell, if it's going to be good or not.
Right.
And, I was watching the, I think it was the CU podcast, Completely Unnecessary Podcast with Pat the NES Punk, and one of the points they mentioned that I think was apt was that, this is really more for people that want to be like delighted and surprised by something. So keeping it secret kind of makes sense. But for me, I don't like the fact that it's secret. And the other challenge is that, it could be a great value if there's also a season 2 and a season 3. You get 12 games plus another 12 plus another 12. Then maybe after X number of games, you pay a little bit more or something like that. And then you get another couple seasons or something. But I think for 12 games, $150 when the games you don't really know what they are is a little bit iffy. I think that it could definitely be pretty worthwhile if there's more than one season, though.
They're really not selling you the game. They're not selling you on the games, though, because if you look at how they marketed this, you're a marketing guy.
Yeah. Oh, they're definitely not selling you on the games. But for me, I can see that they're not selling me on the games. But what I'm interested in are the games,
right?
Personally,
right. Because really, what they did is they established rapport. There's for 20 years, we've mostly made software, and it's a long time. We want to do some crazy stuff. That's why we made Firewatch, which was critically acclaimed when it came out, and the Untitled Goose Game, which is highly anticipated.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, this is amazing marketing. I really like the site. I like the way that it's designed. Like you said, they're building rapport. They have a very friendly, casual tone. It doesn't read like the Atari, the VCS, where they're like revealing little snippets of information here and there, and like no one really knows anything about the console, and it just seems like very kind of shady. Like it's very upfront about what everything is, and even upfront about the fact that the games will be secret, which isn't upfront, but they're upfront about not being upfront there. So
here's the thing. Yeah. Out of my engagement with this, like looking at this, I am more excited. I would be willing to buy this over buying Nintendo Labo.
Oh, yeah, I'm not super interested in the Labo, so that's part of it for me. But yeah, I think that the device would be a really cool thing to have. I don't, just because, well, maybe if I wasn't renovating my basement right now, but if I wasn't renovating my basement and had other expenses and a baby on the way, I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, I'd pick this up. Probably won't, because we have to save our money right now. But if that wasn't the case, I probably would pick this up. I mean, this is pretty cool. But I am a bit skeptical about it.
This might be one of those things too that like you have to buy it in on the ground floor, because by the time that you'll know if it's worth it or not, you won't be able to get it.
Yeah, that's another thing I was thinking too. So it's like you're just screwed. I could definitely see people
Because all of them will come with one game to start out, and then you'll have to wait 12 more weeks before you can figure out what the system really is going to have on it.
In totality, yeah, unless there's going to be a second season, in which case you have to wait longer. But
and the real question is like, how are those games unlocked? Is this thing internet enabled? And how long is it going to take for someone to crack it and dump it?
Yeah, that's another question too. I mean, it's definitely internet enabled because you're downloading the game. You get like pinged or there's like a light or something when that pops on when there's a new game available.
Are you sure?
That's what I heard.
Because like, what if it's an internal clock?
I think from what I read that it's going to be Wi-Fi enabled. Let me see.
I mean, that would make sense, but I'm just curious. And I don't think it'll TV out. I think that would be insane. I think they're selling this as a pocket experience, a mobile experience, and not a TV experience.
So yeah. No, I think you're definitely right on that. Yeah, I'm doing like a control find Wi-Fi. You might be right. There might be like an internal clock. Maybe I just assumed it was Wi-Fi, and I could be wrong on that. So, but that said, I mean, I also don't know what the UX, the interface will be like the menu system, which I think would very much explain how that process is going to work.
It's black and white screen, so it's going to be really minimal what you can do with it. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the games that they release on it is a minute.
Yeah, just sort of like yeah. Well, I mean, the Game Boy had a black and white screen, and they had some amazing titles, but this is like an ultra crystal clear. Yeah, it's different. But
it's coming out this year.
They described this as a really high quality black and white screen, and then said something to the effect of like, if that makes sense, or if that's like a thing. So I don't know. It seems like it'll be very crystal clear, but just black and white. And I think one person really hit the nail on the head when they said that it was probably like the most hipster device on Earth. Which kind of seems like it's kind of toward that.
I mean, again, it does kind of give off the vibe of being an art installation, basically, an artistic vision.
Yeah, I think so.
So it'll be something for sure. I hope somebody in your friends group picks it up so you can try it.
Yeah, I'd like to. I'm very curious about it,
Yeah, it definitely is a curious thing, but it's like a Tamagotchi. You like love to play it for like a week or two, and then you're like, okay, I'm sick of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? I don't know. I guess it's too early to tell.
Yeah. I'm going to keep my ear to the ground on it because it definitely seems very interesting. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think about the Playdate, and also if you're going to be picking up Untitled Goose Game, because that just seems like
I should stream that game. I will have probably way too much fun playing.
Oh yeah. And by the way, for anyone watching, Shelby/Rucro, for those of you that are unaware, is our editor, and her Twitch channel is in the description below. So check her out and follow her on Twitch. She does a variety of different streams, games, art stuff, all sorts of stuff actually. Is there anything you want to say about your Twitch channel?
I haven't been consistent lately because I have been moving, but I'm now here and I do have plans to stream more often and get some like stuff set up for like art and whatnot. So like please follow me, tune in.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll tell you which hentai haven is thing is the best. Since you guys keep asking me.
Oh my goodness. You're gonna build
appropriate here, but it'll be appropriate on my channel.
Yeah, you're gonna build the following for all the wrong reasons, I think.
I mean, my channel, I talked about how the birthing process should be like a baby cannon that comes up with complete with confetti. That like a doctor stands across the waiting room with like a giant mattress. It's like pull.
Yeah, like, that would be nice. Instead, there's just a lot of bodily everything and screaming and body stuff and screaming horrible pain and it's good stuff. Anyways.
Don't have kids.
Yeah. Okay,
I mean, you're not having a kid, you just kind of help make it and you pay for it, right? That's the best part. You want to be a dad.
Yeah.
Don't be a mom, be a dad.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier. You play catch with the kids, it's great.
Yeah, that's if you're I mean, obviously you don't have to give birth to your child, but
I'm kidding.
There's it depends on how hands-on you are. If you want to be a real dad, you got to be hands-on. Got to be hands-on with your kids.
You gotta strap on the fake breast milk thing and then suckle your own baby.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
That's what it's like to be a mother.
Oh my god. Yeah, except when they bite you, it doesn't hurt. My wife was saying she had like read some cartoon or something the other day where it was like a baby and it had like an angel and a devil on its shoulder. And oh no, you know what it was? Is you know that Kermit the Frog meme where it's like Kermit and then like the
Evil
Emperor,
Kermit? Yeah.
Dark Kermit. And the good Kermit was like, oh, we love Boopy. It gives us food and we would never do anything bad to Boopy. And like, oh, Boopy's so nice and soft and warm. And then evil Kermit said, bite it.
Yeah, I bite it.
It's like, oh my god.
With teeth.
Yeah, with teeth, precisely. But okay, let's go ahead and move on since we're just talking about boobs now to our next topic. We have a couple Patreon questions / topics. The first one is from William H. And it is talking about Smash Bros. Released a free VR for Labo, obviously, because that's the only way you play VR on the Switch. Like a VR feature, sub-feature.
I thought this was a joke. I guess
Me too.
I didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so here it is. I'm playing it here. I have a link, and I think I might put a link in the description. If not, you could just search it. But it has a couple different modes. And one of the modes is just you allow the CPUs to play, and you look around. So you can get different viewpoints of the level and kind of see the scenery, which is kind of nice from like a development standpoint, that you can kind of see what is involved, I guess. In sort of like the actual level that you normally wouldn't be able to see. The look on your face is priceless, by the way. And there's another mode where you can play single player versus the CPU, and that's it. So it is free. It's not like a fully fleshed out game. It's just like a feature / download that no one asked for, that they just kind of threw in. So I don't know how I feel about it, because it's apparently the people that I've talked to that have utilized it say it's nauseating.
Oh, I'm sure.
Super nauseating, but I don't know. Like I'm torn, because it's like it's free, so just don't use it if you don't want it, you know? It's bizarre though.
Here's where I'm at on this. Not to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
But from like a machinima point of view, if you wanted to do like cool Smash Brothers like machinima stuff,
yeah,
this is cool, because like you can get some really neat dynamic angles and maybe tell some interesting story, goofy things with this.
Yeah, sure.
From a gameplay standpoint, if you're going to play the game like this, it's hot garbage.
Oh yeah. Well, another thing too, and I don't know if this is going to be the case with everybody, but as soon as you plug it in to anything, it says VR mode disabled. So if I were to try to plug it in to get video out, to do that sort of machinima style recording, to make something, I'm sure someone will eventually hack it so it can stay within that mode when you do a video out, because of course Nintendo's like, oh well, you plugged it in, you're not doing VR anymore, right? But you know, it would be cool if someone were to hack it, then you could actually utilize it for that purpose.
Oh man, I don't know about that. That feels so weird. You know, I forgot, somebody managed to hack, I think, a 3DS, because like those consoles you can't stream out from. I know people did a hardware swap on them that you basically do the HDMI out.
Yeah.
But I thought somebody eventually made it so that when you were on XSplit, you could actually get the DS to project as a camera over the Wi-Fi to XSplit.
Really?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and like look for that, but someone managed to figure out how to stream your stuff to XSplit. I wonder if you could do that with the Switch, because it is Wi-Fi enabled, if you could treat it kind of like a camera. I don't know.
That would be interesting to know for sure. Yeah. I
mean, hacked consoles are fascinating because they can do some really crazy stuff. I once played Smash Brawl, I think, on a hacked Wii U, and it was kind of insane. I've never had an experience quite like it before.
How was it insane?
Well, like, I barely remember this. I don't even, it's like a fever dream. I don't even know. I don't even remember when it happened or if I could ask somebody if they were there. I think I might be able to ask my partner and be like, hey, did you remember playing Wii? It's like, I'm pretty sure it was at a convention in a hotel. But like the characters, there were like, they'd hacked some of the characters. So they like slotted in certain skins over certain other characters and everything was like weird colors.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And the thing is, you can only do it on a handbraked Wii U. It was a Wii.
Yeah.
You can only do it on a modded Wii, and the only modded Wiis you could mod were like some of the first generations they sold. So it's like super specific what kind of Wii you have to do this type of thing. I'd have to go look into it, but it's really fascinating. Maybe we could do that as a video.
yeah, just like a fever dream, brawl. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'd have to think about it. I don't remember what it was called. I just remember it being really weird.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, wow.
Look into it because that might be something worth taking a peek at. Honestly.
Yeah, Wii homebrew channel.
So yeah, I'd like to know some more people's thoughts and comments regarding the Smash VR. I'm not like, I feel like a lot of people are really excuse me, like offended by it, but it's like a free thing that you download, so it's like whatever. But but at the same time, I wish Nintendo wouldn't release stuff that's like making people vomit. You know what I mean? Like it's like nauseating for people to play this because it's like it isn't.
I couldn't do it.
They're doing a bunch of VR that's like, hey, you're the camera, not like first person, because it's like, hey, we don't have the power to do like a real true VR experience, so it's just going to be kind of like a sort of a 3D, you're in the space, like sort of a voyeuristic sort of thing, which I guess do what you got to do if you don't have the power to do it, but it just kind of comes off as strange to me, I think. I don't know.
True.
Yeah. Anywho's, let's move on to our next topic. I'm not sure there's anything else to say really about the Smash VR.
It's garbage. Why would you release it? Moving on.
Well, there you go. So, last one's also kind of a small, shorter one. It's actually Melon Speedruns suggested this at Super Mario Maker 2. People are very excited about it. We talked about it in a previous stream. There's a lot going on with it. Coming out for the Switch. Everything Mario Maker 1 was, but like a bajillion times more. But there was a new information that came out. You can play multiplayer, as we knew before, online, but you can't play multiplayer online with friends, only random people. So you can't, coordinate anything with friends online. It's just randos. Which is weird because in Mario Kart, at least for the Wii U, I remember you could set up like a server or whatever, and like a group, and like you could tell people and they could join and stuff, so you could play with friends. And I used to do that a lot with Mario Kart 8. We do little Hard4Games races. This was before I had a kid, so I had time to do this. But it was like, hey, I'm going live on Mario Kart 8. Come join me. Type in this thing. This is our room, and we'd go get like 4 or 5 people and play. But uh-oh.
I hear the gentle
tone
of a man.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I thought it was that you were going to tell me something was wrong with Thomas.
No.
Okay. No, my wife just came to tell me she turned the exhaust fan on. Because she was being
courteous
regarding noise.
Yeah.
During the stream. I thought that maybe our son has been having a hard time sleeping. He also had a fever earlier this week. Oh, the fire alarm went off. Get a fork and poke it, Anna. So anyways, he has been not sleeping. He's been getting up like 10 times. Put him in bed at 8:30, then it's 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, whatever. The other day he got up because he was free of his fever, but just like manic, I guess, and also really like sleep deprived. He woke up at 1 and wanted to have a party until 3. And so I guess we did, and it was horrible. It was hell on earth for us. So it's been great. It's been a real weird week for us. Anyways, your thoughts on Mario Maker 2 and the online functionality of Nintendo? Never disappointing.
It's sad to know that Microsoft got it right the first time in the Xbox 360 era. They really hammered, and even though it cost $50 a year, they hammered home how easy it was to play with your friends.
Yeah.
And how easy it was to form a voice chat party. And this was like 2009. They got it. It was done, and it's been the same ever since.
Easy peasy.
I think. I don't know how PS4's online functionality is because I've never really had to do it. I know that when I played Bloodborne and the Souls games, it wasn't terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But Nintendo cannot seem to figure it out, like, ever. And like,
it's amazing.
And it's sad because I feel like Nintendo was the pioneer of this. Like, they were totally on the track with the Satellaview, and like they had it, they were getting it, and then they just decided to go take a left turn, never come back.
I feel like they felt so burned by the 64 disk drive because it was such a failure, and that was to have all of that online functionality, that they're like, screw it. Like, never again.
Never again. And then we'll never have this interactivity.
Yeah, exactly. And then eventually they realized they had to.
They do it for the weirdest reasons. Did you hear the reason that they're saying they're not doing it? Or they're not letting you play with friends on Mario Maker 2?
Why?
Because there are leaderboards.
Okay.
Because the entire game is ranked. They don't want people to cheat the leaderboards with their friends.
So, like, playing with someone, like having two like really good people, they know you're both really good, playing a stage is really easy for you guys, and then trying to get to the top of the leaderboards, or what?
I guess. I mean, because like you can play multiplayer co-op, couch co-op. Yeah. You can do that, but you just can't play online with your friends. And the reason they're saying is because of the leaderboard functionality, which is easily solved if you just if you play with your friends, you lose the leaderboard functionality. How hard is that? Or hide it. Or not it. I don't care. And why do you have to have a leaderboard?
Yeah. I feel like they're doing so much right with the Switch era, but then occasionally they just F something up. Like the lack of region locking, amazing. Better online functionality than they've ever had, amazing. Mm-hmm. But then just every once in a while they're like, no, we're still Nintendo. Right. No. Like, you don't get that. Like, just for no reason. Or for a reason that's really... Yeah, what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying the reason is very just asinine.
Right. It's absolutely asinine. Like, not the tangent, but like I play Magic the Gathering online. Mm-hmm. And that system, I don't know if you've ever played Magic the Gathering. It's like hard game. You play typically with your friends, but they have an online arena where you play with random people. Yeah. They don't have a friends list. They just don't have it. But you can still battle your friends. But you can't actually earn any of the rewards. So when you play the game and there's quests, like play so many red cards or tackle so many creatures. When you play your friends, you get none of that. Yeah. No quests get activated, and your victories don't matter for shit. You're just playing with your friends. Why can't you Mario Maker that?
They could. They just didn't think of it.
You don't even need a friend. You don't even need a friends. Like, you can like invite your friend, but you don't necessarily need like a lobby to make it. Just be like, play online. Choose a friend. You're going. Like, how hard is it?
If you just want to have fun, just go. Just go have fun. Like, stop restricting fun for these dumb reasons.
Right. I mean, I was listening to Jim Sterling talk about this, and like they have a similar reason why like Splatoon 2 doesn't have cloud saves.
Yeah.
Because like they're so worried about people cheating or like circumventing some stuff to like get an advantage when people are straight up cheating in Splatoon 2 and they just don't do anything about it.
Yeah. They just, again, like every once in a while they just have something just so
off the wall.
Just like ass backwards. Like, it's so bizarre. It's so strange the way that Nintendo functions. It's very, very odd, to say the least.
Their priorities in the wrong place.
Yeah, I think so. Like, it feels like someone's got really like hyper focused on this one thing, like, and that one thing is like the leaderboards or like cheating, and it's like we have to do all this stuff. Like, if we just do this, then they won't be able to. But then they're so hyper focused on this one thing that they're forgetting everything else.
I mean, maybe they have PTSD from the King of Kong. The best Donkey Kong player in the world is like disqualified, and how would you? That leaves scars, Tony.
But at least scars. He was an asshole, and we can all be happy about
totally
him.
An asshole. Oh my god,
he was so bad. We actually had back in the day, John went with a guy who used to write for Hard4Games, Oliver, and back to basically that group. Twin Galaxies did a con that no one showed up to called the Big Bang in 2010, and no one showed up. They also didn't it's terrible marketing. They didn't really. He was like, "Oh, we did a Facebook post. People should show up," that kind of thing.
Twin Galaxies seems like they're in the 80s still, like even today. Like,
yeah, and this was 2010. They were trying to capitalize on the fact that King Kong came out like 5 years earlier, and they were kind of, their name was recognizable again. So they had like all the guys that you saw in King of Kong, and basically they were like all there, and Twin Galaxies was giving out these awards and awards and awards and whatever, and like all this stuff. And some of the stuff where like it was proven that he was lying, like our guys captured on footage. It was the same footage that other people have, but it's also like John and Oliver did these interviews with Billy Mitchell and Steve Wiebe and like all of these guys that were just. But it was funny because it was like, now it's just a lot of those people are just freaking worthless. You know what I mean? Like they were just hacks. Not Steve Wiebe, but like Billy Mitchell and that other guy who got like, was it drag racing or race drag?
Pole position.
Pole position, yeah, like that guy. Like I can't remember his name, but like he was just. It was just all BS. Like
it's like literally he could like physically couldn't have made the game. Even if you perfect played it with a machine, still wouldn't get that time.
Yeah, because I remember they went on, what was that guy's channel? He rebuilt the Nintendo PlayStation. I can't remember his name. But anyways, he was with that one individual, and they basically, like you said, got a machine to play it and like hacked it, and it was impossible to get the score that he got.
Right.
It was just completely and totally Ben Heck. Someone.
Ben Heck.
Ben Heck. Yes. So yeah, it was just like, my God.
I don't know. It's so weird because like I think about this sometimes because we watch speedrunners in my house occasionally, and like GDQ is its own like neat event. But I'm like, in the universe there exists one specific way to like get the fastest time, and like that is the fastest time that there will ever be.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if you have to do it by TaskBot or if someone ever discovers it. But I was like, but one day there will just be the perfect way to do it, and then there'll be nobody else.
Yeah, like, eventually. Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah, with everything really. So some not corrections, but enlightenments. Todd Rogers was the individual, and Ben Heck was the other individual. Todd Rogers went on Ben Heck's show and tried to prove that his score was like legit, possible with the program that is the game, and it was not. So, but then Todd Rogers was still like kind of defending it and be like, oh, well, when you shift that gear right, though, when you shift that gear, and Ben Heck was like, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's even physically possible. And it's like, oh, yeah, but when you shift that gear, and Ben Heck's like, yeah, there's nothing in the program that even allows that. And he's like, oh, yeah, but when you get it just right, though.
I don't know what it is about Twin Galaxies guys. Like, they seem really eager to like believe anybody. Like, they're good guys. They really are, but like, they are not skeptical enough.
No, definitely not. Yeah, it was funny because we had a bunch of those interviews on our channel back in the day, but are you still there? You froze. Okay, now you're back. Okay. I'm
naturally still like
no, this was like true frozen. Oh. Like you're like, it was like a weird, yeah. Anyways, so we had those on our channel back in the day, but no one watched them. Interviews have always done poorly on Hard4Games, and like, so just nobody watched them, so we got rid of them. But then like all this stuff came back, and we're like, should we like put it back out there? But the problem is that John was not as outgoing as he is now. Back then he was a lot.
Really?
Yeah. So he didn't want to do any of the interviews. He was just the camera guy, and Oliver, who really was working on behalf of Every Online Gamer was the name of the site, but was partnered with us and occasionally did some content for us, like on our website back in the day. We had written content on our site back when that existed. So John isn't in them. So if we were to repost this stuff to be topical, it would be this guy that no one has seen on our channel for like almost a decade. So it was just something that we're like, let's just not.
I had this brainwave and let it be written into the annals of history. I was just thinking, I was like, you guys should like, cause you're like, interviews do really badly. And I was like, you guys should just do fake interviews. Like where you guys like just fake interview a fake character, right?
Yeah.
Like John's like a fake character. And then I realized that if you guys ended up getting the Playdate,
Yeah.
you should interview somebody who's like in love with the Playdate.
There you go. Perfect.
And it's like this weird interview where the guy's like just like keeps like playing with the Playdate during it. It's kind of like, oh, a new game. I gotta play it.
Gotta go.
I'm sorry, I can't do this interview.
I'm too busy right now. I'm too busy. We were thinking about doing a
I love your mockumentary. It's great.
Yeah, well, thank you. Could have been better, but if we would have had a green screen back then, I think it would have had more potential. But, anyways, I think that what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we had an idea that we never ran with. That was basically going to be like the Onion for video games. So we might still do it at some point, but that's kind of similar to sort of the fake interview idea.
Yeah. Oh my god, the Onion for video games would just be ridiculous.
The challenge is that YouTube likes specific content, so that's why our reviews, even though our reviews may be as good as other people's reviews, and they only do reviews and they get big numbers for their reviews, since we also do dev content and our dev content does better, YouTube doesn't like the fact that we do both things. Right. So it branching off, into a bunch of different things is actually kind of detrimental. But we still do reviews because we enjoy them, even though they don't do as well, and YouTube punishes us for doing them. So it's kind of one of those things. It's weird. I
would just love to see I call it a Funyun article, maybe, right?
Yeah.
A Funyun article about I waited 2 extra years for this Kickstarter game and it's just okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. We actually had a name for it. I'll tell you later. I'm not going to say it aloud just in case, we end up doing it. Like in terms of the name for it. But we'll see if that ever actually comes to fruition at all. I don't know. I'm not sure. Tony, that's why a lot of channels are doing side channels to try things. Yeah, here's the thing, is I totally agree, but then what if YouTube changes at some point? Like, they changed to be more specific. What if they change to be more generalized? They're always changing. So you can never, I don't want to do another channel and build it 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 and put all this effort into it.
One thing if you're like, on my main channel, I do movie reviews, but on my side channel, I just do Let's Plays. Like, it makes sense if your content was so diverse that you had to make 2 channels because your content had nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
But most of your content's video game related. I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah, but even then they want you to split. But the thing is, sometimes, yeah, I agree. I know. But it's just, the thing is, I don't want to build an audience again. I'm so tired.
You're so over it.
Yeah, it's so hard to do that. I don't want to put all this effort into another channel, and then
I wouldn't.
Then what if YouTube switches again and they're like, oh yeah, we want you to diversify, and we'd be like, shoot, now I have to combine my channels, come on, it just becomes hell after a while. Anyways, we may do that idea at some point, we may not, I'm not sure. Did you want to touch on the Epic Store at all?
Sure. It's funny because I brought this up, but customers some people have been upset about the Epic Store because of the exclusivity, and then Epic. I was talking about last night, was discussing it with my roommates, that when we entered, are we in the 4th generation right now of consoles, or is it 5th?
Of consoles?
Yeah, of consoles.
I think it's 7th or 8th.
Okay, so in this most recent generation of consoles. Yeah. We have really lost exclusivity. When the PS4 came out, all the exclusives basically were on all consoles. I mean, hell, Kingdom Hearts 3 was on Xbox 360 this year. I mean, that's insane. Kingdom Hearts has always been either on Nintendo handhelds or on the main games have been on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was hey, it's across several, it's across all the we're not exclusive anymore. It was okay, well, the age is dead. We have crossplay happening. We have nothing's exclusive anymore.
There's nothing sacred.
Yeah, nothing is sacred except for God of War.
Yeah.
But we are experiencing a new age of non-exclusivity, and then here the Epic Game Store is busting in on the scene and paying money out to publishers for their games to come out exclusively. It's not even a permanent exclusiveness. It's a 6-month demo time. It's like, yes,
Yeah.
Borderlands 3 will be 6 months on the Epic Game Store, and then it'll release everywhere else. But like by that time, like why would you be even bother playing it? Everyone's reviewed it and everyone's talked about it. It's over, right? The hype is over.
Yeah.
They're capitalizing on FOMO.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And really, Steam's not said anything about it, but the Epic Game Store is allegedly not very good as a piece of software. It's not good.
Yeah. The user experience lacks.
Right. The storefront apparently is very bare bones. They don't really have a good way of searching for stuff. They don't have a shopping cart. They're having a big sale right now, but if you buy too many games too fast, you get banned.
That's the best part.
You buy them one at a time. So if you're like, oh, I gotta get this game and this game and this game, and then your account's locked.
So we were talking about this earlier, and I was playing Devil's Advocate. I'm like, well, like, you think of it like a streaming service. Netflix has their exclusives, Hulu has their exclusives, Amazon Prime has their exclusives, etc. And like, that's kind of the way that the world is going a little bit with streaming services. With games, it's kind of come back around to more like community. Everything is on everything except for like Nintendo first party stuff. Right. So it's kind of disappointing to see that there's all this exclusive stuff. But at the same time, like, they're trying to distinguish themselves and give people a reason to go to the Epic Game Store. And why would you even bother if you could just get it on Steam and you already have a Steam account, etc., right? So you kind of have to have something special. And if you don't have a good user interface, the only special thing you can have are the games. But when Shelby told me that the user interface is garbage, it's kind of becomes a situation where you're kind of almost holding these games hostage a little bit, and it's like, oh great, I have to go use that store,
right? And there are stores that are not good, like Origin and Ubisoft. Uplay.
There you go.
Yeah, those storefronts exist, and you have to use them to play those games of EA games or Ubisoft's games. But you can buy those games through the Steam front and then play them through the other front. And it's like, because Steam's you use that, like, Steam has stopped making games because really they kind of have sharpened and polished this storefront.
Yeah.
And like they excel in that, and they haven't even said anything about this Epic Game Store stuff because they don't care. Like, why do they care? They're still the biggest juggernaut, even though big titles are coming to the Epic Store. The Epic Store is just really like reeling people in, so they have to use the interface and get the users in, and then you'll just keep them because they're like, oh well, now I have to play Borderlands 3 here. Oh, I guess this other Kickstarter game I backed is going to come out here too, so I might as well keep it. Like, they're going to keep people dangling along until they get where they need to be, and they've had just a lot of negative press in general as a company.
I feel like when they first started, they had a lot of positive press, and then it went downhill because I know that their developer cuts were better than Steam.
Yeah, they are huge.
That's why a lot of people went with Epic, and I know that around the same time, Steam also increased their developer cut a little bit, but it still wasn't quite as good as Epic. So Epic still kind of had that going for them, but Steam kind of made an effort, I guess. But then after that, there seemed to be a lot of like technical issues.
It is crazy because I do remember hearing so much positive press about the Epic Game Store. Everyone was really, really optimistic. They're like, oh, here it is, the challenge to Steam, free marketplace. Let's make it happen. But I think because they have been literally so aggressive because really when they first came out, they were super passive. Like, we're gonna give developers more money. We're gonna fund the game market. We're gonna do it. Yeah. And then like now they're like, we're buying everything that you love, so you will come to our store. Yeah. Come to our store.
Yeah. No, I'm all for the free market and capitalism and competition and everything. You don't want Steam to become a monopoly, but I think.
Did you hear about Rocket League?
No, what about it?
They bought the Rocket League developer.
Really? Okay.
Yes. So I don't know if you follow Rocket League very much. It's still a very popular game.
Yeah.
It's a game where you play soccer with cars.
Yeah, I played it. Yeah.
It is one of the biggest games that's cross-platform right now, though.
Yeah.
You can play with people on Xbox.
So that might change, huh?
PS4, I think the Switch, and the PC. Well, here's the caveat. So they bought the developer, and they released a weird set of tweets about it because right now Epic has the publisher, but the game's on Steam. So they were kind of like, it's going to be on Steam for now, but we'll see what comes up later.
Ah, geez. Okay.
So there's like some weird hints that they may take it off of Steam and put it on the Epic Game Store instead, which is a big question of what's going to happen to everybody who has the game on Steam.
And they bought it because they had the accessibility and
right.
Yeah. So real quick, we have an important question from user 1930TX or 1903TX. Does Epic have Keck 64 Illuminati of Time? Do you know?
Obviously not. Obviously not. That game is for top Kecks only.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you know?
My God. That game is so funny.
That game is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It's the most insane thing I've ever played. But I appreciate it for what it is, an homage to insanity. It is amusing. For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, check out our video that we released yesterday. 40 Winks.
Was it a real cart that played in hardware?
Yeah, that was all off of real hardware. I had a 40 Winks cart that I bought off of Pico, I can't remember. I think it's Pico Interactive. And I want to play that one with my wife, actually, because she loves Banjo-Kazooie, and this is like Banjo-Kazooie 2-player.
It looked good. Yeah.
And then Keck 64 Illuminati of Time, real cartridge, real hardware.
I mean, game's bad, and the slowdown is bad. I will say there's something impressive about putting software on old technology like 64 carts, or even, I don't know if you, Tom the Iron Man is a huge fan of his name just flew out of my head. He made Battle Kid on the NES.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and Battle Kid 2, he taught himself how to program for NES.
Yeah.
Which, it's a lost art. You can't just go pick up a book that's like, hey, this is how you play. It's how you program games in NES. Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, where would you start?
Yeah. That's why I don't develop. I just archive.
I know. It just it blows my mind because there are people who are dedicated to making new mediums in old.
It's incredible. It really is. I think the challenge with that game is that in terms of the slowdown is that you get too much on screen, and he also wasn't optimizing the polygons. Someone was mentioning something about it just not being the polygons or something, or the textures weren't optimized. There's too much going on, so he needed to do a little bit of optimization, reduce the number of things on screen, make better use of the expansion pack, that kind of thing, and then it would have been smooth. But it is what it is. It was just a crazy, crazy Mario 64 ROM hack. You know what I mean? It was just funny as hell, and also just horribly offensive. But
the all right thing was actually really hilarious. The right ear music.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know if he intended that, but the fact that everything is a right-wing game and everything was just mixed to the right side in terms of the audio was just ridiculous.
Except for the sound effects. The sound effects were both ears, actually.
Oh, okay. So just the music, the score.
Just the music. Yeah.
The epic score. Let's see here. A lot of people chit-chatting about the Trump hair coins and stuff. So before we go, let's do a couple of announcements here. A couple of episodes coming up. We have a Police Knot episodes that John is working on. I have an episode on my updates for my Wonder Swan collection, including some modded Wonder Swans that I have. Strangely, my Wonder Swan Crystal, I thank God I have some new modded Wonder Swans, because my Swan Crystal, people keep taking and putting drinks on. They will not stop. So back in the day, people in my house for some reason would always find something to put on top of my Wonder Swan and scratch the screen, even though the screen was in perfect condition, and it would just slowly get these little frays and stuff. And then today, the Reverend Bobby was over, and he's redoing my basement. I'm learning from him. He knows way more about construction and design. And
I hope he wears clothes while he does it, though.
He does. We actually wear a lot of clothes because we need to have protective clothing on or whatever. So anyways, the kids are upstairs playing, and I go upstairs, and his son, Theodore, is super adventurous, and he's a really good kid, but he's got a little mischievousness in him. And he's like, Tony, what's this? And he had went to the game room, reached up on the shelf, gotten the Wonder Swan off, and was running around with it. And I'm like, why is it always the Wonder Swan?
Put it in a box.
Yeah, don't touch. Don't touch it.
You gotta put it in a glass case.
We're leaving. We're going to get ice cream, kids. There's That was actually kind of fun. We took him to go get ice cream, and his son, it was so funny. He it was like in a cup, and he wouldn't scoop it up. He waited until it melted and would just sip. And my son's like younger than him. He's like eating with a spoon.
He's going to be a Scotch drinker
like,
when he grows up.
I'm like, dude, like, eat your ice cream. He's like,
that's
like,
weird.
come on. Anyways, it was funny. So anyways, we have Modded Wonder Swan. We have a Sega Saturn development unit coming in. We have a PlayStation Super Slim prototype coming in. A PlayStation Vita development unit coming in. Ooh. A lot of interesting stuff. Nintendo and non-Nintendo. We're branching out a little bit. I know it's scary, but we'll all live. It'll be good stuff. And there's a question in the chat. Did they show off EarthBound 64? Yes, and there's a link in the description below for the new footage. You can check that out yourself if you'd like. And a couple of channel updates before we go. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we are doing a charity stream for the ASPCA on June 23rd. That's a Sunday. It'll be at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Same time as the normal Hard4Games Gaiden. And all proceeds from the Super Chats will be going to the ASPCA. They are a charity for anti-animal cruelty. They help abused, abandoned animals. They rescue them out of abusive homes, that kind of thing. We'll also be selling off these 3D printed replica N64 DD discs. These are not actual discs. They're just 3D printed replicas of the shell, but they are pretty neat looking. They have our logo on them. And we'll be selling those for like, I think like 30, 35 or something plus shipping. All proceeds minus the shipping will go to charity on that day. So please join us. Again, it's going to be June 23rd. It'll be at 7 p.m. That's a Sunday evening. And we'd like it for all of you to join. Toss a buck or two in. We're hoping to get a couple $100. Nothing crazy, but, you know, make a little bit of a difference would be nice. So, especially when you think of what some of these assholes do to these animals. So it would be nice to do something nice. So, but yeah, anywho's, someone says Andrew's Saturn Sophia unit. Shh, the secret. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, the Sophia unit. Yes. And double lastly, in all of the descriptions of our videos, in the About section, all that stuff, we have our P.O. Box listed, which used to be private, and we just would share it with people that were sending us stuff to borrow. But if you want to send us anything for keepsies, you can. It is in the description now, so you could feel free to go crazy. If you do want to send us anything to borrow, however, please contact us. With something that we would need to discuss and talk about and what have you, because there are details involved in that we can't just talk about if once we receive the item. So please just send us stuff that we don't need to return. And if you'd like us to borrow something, you can always contact us and we can discuss it. So, Shelby.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I've enjoyed talking to you today.
I'm glad. I'm glad I could be here to help fill the time. And are you recording this?
Well, YouTube automatically records it.
Okay, cool. Because the whole part where you have
I'm also
there's lots of special things happening in there.
Oh, okay. Well, we are live still, but it is being recorded by YouTube. But
oh no, I know. I'm just saying for later.
Oh, okay. Yes. So, do you have any final thoughts or things that you'd like to say before we venture off into oblivion?
I can't wait to be an annoying goose.
Yes.
Please send Tony all of the candy you can that doesn't have corn syrup in it or corn products. I'm allergic to them, and I would like to eat all of them.
Oh, yes.
Eventually, come up there and be like, I want to come and be like, so we have this huge box of candy in our P.O. box. We've been like waiting for you to open it. Here you go.
There was a good question regarding the P.O. box a bit back. Someone asked, can we send things for specific people? Just to do like ATTN, so-and-so, put like a note in it, be like, I want this for Richie, I want this for Shelby, like give this to John or something like that. Or for the love of God, don't let Tony have this. I'll probably be the first person to contact because I have the key to the P.O. box, but I can distribute it to whomever you'd prefer, if that's something that you'd like to do for one of our like specific.
I might do this for you.
What? What's that?
So I have a friend nearby who makes mead, and he gave me a bottle for my birthday, and I'll
Ooh,
tell you, it's really good.
really?
I might have to ask him for another bottle and before I come up and bring it with me in
Oh man, oh
Aspiration
man, oh
Channel
man. I haven't had mead in a
when we have an
while. I
episode.
like mead though. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's so good. Oh,
Oh
it's so good.
man,
It's
excited now.
smooth.
Excited. I'm really tempted to. Probably shouldn't, but I'm just gonna go ahead and make a Pro Jared joke and say, don't send us anything inappropriate, please. We don't want
Yeah,
anything
no
inappropriate.
giant dildos.
Yes. And nothing beyond the PG-13 realm. I mean, if it's like a game or something that's rated M, that's fine.
Right.
But we don't want
But if we
anything.
can't share it on YouTube, please don't send it to us.
Yeah. Yes, please. Oh my God. Anyways, I probably shouldn't have said that. I gotta poke when I can. But hey, if you've enjoyed this and enjoyed Shelby's sense of humor and witty remarks and banter, please check her out on Twitch. I have a link to her Twitch channel in the description below. She does streams of games, and she also does a lot of streams where it's just like art. She's making art and chatting with you guys, and it's a lot of good fun. It's very relaxing and enjoyable. So if you're looking for something either on either end of the spectrum, you get some action in the game or something just to like chill out to and check out for a little bit. She has a lot of that type of content on her channel. So please pay her a visit, follow the channel, put on those notifications, all that good stuff, and you will not be disappointed.
Yep. One day I'll get a Patreon together.
There you go. We do have a comment, not in regards to that, but in regards to our P.O. box that says giant dildos incoming. So please refrain.
Here comes the spoons.
Oh my goodness. Does Tony want any Billy Mitchell hot sauce? It hasn't been selling well, so I'm a bit backlogged. Oh my God. I would totally take some Billy Mitchell hot sauce. That's hilarious. Oh my God. Anyways, so yeah, guys, thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. We actually had really good numbers this particular stream, and we appreciate all the super chats and all that stuff. And again, thank you, Shelby, for joining me today. And I enjoyed our banter. It was good stuff.
Yes, great stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and press stop streaming.